Hi, and welcome back to the channel. We are continuing Attack on Titan. This is season 4, episode 9. Well, yeah, the last 4 episodes have been extremely traumatic. A lot of cool action, of course, but also so much death. And yeah, in particular, Sasha dying in the last episode. That hit us pretty hard. And also some big revelations. The fact that Zeke and Eren is kind of working together, but Eren also forced the hand of like all of his comrades, all of the people that we know. So there's some bad blood just inside of that faction alone. And then, of course, the Mali and in particular, the Eldians on that side took a big hit as well. Falco and Gabby are, on the airship on the way back to Paradis Island. So now I'm just curious about like what's going to happen now, and also who we are going to be following. Like, are we going to be staying with Eren and the others, or are we going to go back and keep the focus on the Mali side of things with Raina, or jumping back and forth? Don't know, but yeah, we're gonna find out very, very soon. Do you have anything you want to say before we start?
It seems I have popped some blood vessels in both eyes this time, so if my eyes look red, then you know why. And then also this shirt is kind of short, so if you get to see some Prego belly, then sorry, but deal with it, because it's so hot in here right now. So I can't be bothered. I honestly can't be bothered having more clothes on, just because you can't fathom a little bit of skin if you can't. I'm not saying that but you know what I mean.
Exactly. That's just how it's going to be. There needs to be room for the belly, needs to breathe, all of that.
I can't fit any of my clothes anymore, so.
Oh, yeah. But let's do it. And you can, of course, always check out our full-length reactions where you can sync up the footage with your own copy of the episode. We also have early reactions for Attack on Titan at the moment, where we are several episodes ahead. It's all over on Patreon, and the link is down in the description below.
Sorry, it was a little quick there.
No worries. And here we go.
3年前のあの時ならまだ何かを変えられたかもしれない。
Oh no, okay, we're gonna go back in time. It's... Huh.
戦士隊を打ち負かし、世界を脅かす悪魔の島。何としてでもその実態をマーレに持ち帰るのだ。
Oh yeah, of course.
What's up, Eren? Just grab the entire fucking ship. Yoink. Perfect one to greet them.
Is Hanji just becoming unhingy? Okay.
You sure you want to be rude to us?
Wow. Menacing.
Goodbye. Oh, Yelena. Yeah, okay.
ハンジさん、お招きいただき光栄です。
Okay.
会いたかったよ、エレン。
Okay.
Interesting. We talked about that a little bit, like the possibility of them maybe going back in time and showing us how that whole thing came about with the scouts and this Yelena person, and how they started planning this attack on Mali and
I think we did that off screen though.
oh, did we? Oh, okay. We've
did.
talked about it at least at some point.
We talk a lot about this show.
Yeah, we do. I bring it up fairly often.
It's quite cute. Like, yeah.
I'm just excited about it.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Usually, if there's something big that happens,
And I can't shut up
no,
about
and
it.
then, and it's not. It sounds so negative, but it's just like you're just so excited to talk about it, and then we end up talking about it for hours. I think.
There's also a lot to talk about with what's going on in the series.
Yeah, but it seems like we're getting explanation on the whole.
Yeah, what happened in those?
Joining.
Yes, what happened in
Paradis.
those 3 years when we didn't? Yeah. That we didn't see. Brave volunteers.
あのでかい女、仲間を撃ち殺しやがったぞ。一体何が目的なんだ。
さあな。
But hey, now we kind of have Sasha back because we go back in time. Stop looking just straight at the barrel.
それらがマーレ兵の基本装備です。
Oh yeah, that's true. Of course, yeah.
一師団あたり約2万人で構成され、総員50師団で約100万人になります。
Holy fuck, that's a lot of soldiers.
その他新兵器の進歩も目覚ましく、航空戦力にも力を注いでいます。航空
It's a little bit Brianna
ビビっ
Tarth.
てんじゃねえよ。舐められるだろう。
Well, Yelena,
Yeah, a little bit.
big, tall, blonde. Simmer down.
今我々が壁の外でのんびりお茶できるということは、島の巨人をすべて殺してしま
Yeah,
った。
they're pretty much cleaned up.
するとあなた方はマーレに恨みを持つ亡国の民であり、マーレ軍に潜入する諜報員のようなものなのかな。
マーレに故郷を奪われ、兵士として徴用された我々はとても非力で、あの大国に抗う気概は失われつつありました。彼に導かれるまでは。
Seek.
マーレの世界の人々が神です。無力な私たちに希望を見せてくれました。
God, even.
私たちはジーク・イエーガーの命を受け上官を撃った反マーレ義勇兵です。その目的は全エ
Okay.
ルディア人の解放。
Seek did tell them to do that then.
調査兵団を壊滅寸前まで殺戮した張本人がそう抜かしたのか。
ジーク曰く、エルディア人の問題を一挙に解決する秘策があると。その秘策を行う条件として必要なものが、始祖の巨人と
Yeah,
王家の
bingo.
血を引く巨人。
聞くに耐えん。随分と低く見積もられたものだな。
エレン
それは本当です。思い出したんです。ダイナの息子であるジークは解明したのでしょう。不戦のちぎりを出し抜く術を壁に潜む幾千万もの巨人で世界を踏み潰す
Oh.
地ならしの発動条件を。お前、どうして今までそんなことを黙っていやがった？ヒストリアの身を案じたからです。
Yeah, that's why. But now that there's another, then he's willing to talk about it.
敵兵を大勢島に留めておけば何があるか知れないぞ。全員縛り首にすべきだ。
いえ、そうもいきません。彼女らの無線通信がなければ。
Ah, yeah. To lure the others in.
無事か？もう大丈夫だぞ。あれは敵だ。急げ。飛び込め。逃げろ。飛び込め。
And then getting them to abandon their ships.
汚れた悪魔の汚らわしい島へようこそ。
Yeah, that's the welcome you want.
Yeah.
As long as you like pig piss.
Oh, yeah.
でも海の向こうにいる人たちは敵だけじゃなかった。そして世界はずっと複雑で知らないことだらけだった。
ところで、おにゃんぽこんはなんで肌が黒いのですか？
Oh,
俺たちを作ったやつはこう考
Aww.
えいろんなやつがいた方が面白いって
Yeah, that's cute.
誰が僕らを作ったの？
始祖ユミルに力を与えた存在神だよ、
okay.
Okay.
そう考えるやつもいる。 考えるだけなら自由だろ
Well, yeah.
生臭そう。
海の幸は初めてですか？
Smells fishy.
ニコラ
Well,
マーレ料理の達人なんですよ。
くそ嫌なら食うなよエルディア人お前らなんかに食わせてやる
Sasha's gonna love it.
まだまだあるからゆっくり食え
He must feel a little proud.
Yeah. People react to your food like that.
そりゃ最初はお互い疑心暗鬼でうまくいかなかったよ。でも時間をかけて肩書きを抜きにして人同士向き合えばきっと分かり合える。
Yeah, I love that.
ベルトルトの記憶は何か見たか？
本当に地ならして世界を脅すことでしかエルディア人を守る術はないのかなって。それじゃ本当に世界を恐怖に陥れる悪夢だ。
Yeah.
That's
世界から見れば俺たちは巨人に化ける怪物だ。そこに誤解はないだろう。
それだって時間をかければ。そう、時間が必要だ。
Yeah, and time is not really something they have a lot of.
時間を稼ぐためには。
本当に僕たちは正しかったのかな。もしかしたら別の道があったんじゃないかってそればかり考えてしまう。
I totally get why he's thinking that.
Yeah.
誰よりもエレンを理解しているつもりだった。ミカサよりも。でももうわからない。
Eren has changed so much.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of people they sent there.
Mm-hmm.
Never returned.
あれに殺されたエルディア人の墓地に
Oh, what?
おいニコラ
Oh, Nicola.
なんでだよ本当にサシャは死んだのか
Oh,
They had a thing.
maybe?
思考法制か
Yeah.
俺の油断があったすまないなんで俺に謝る俺はただ飯を用意してただけだ
あいつにうまいもんいっぱい食わしてくれてありがとう。
Our biggest passion.
俺とサシャは双子みてえなもんだった。自分が半分なくなっちまったみてえだ。
Oh.
あなたは娘が世話になったようやね
Oh. Well, he looks quite different from last time you saw him as well.
娘さんは俺の料理を誰よりもうまそうに食べてくれましただからもしよかったら
Oh.
俺の料理を食べに来てください
もちろんただなんやろ
はい
You okay?
It's just hormones.
お前を殺して死体をマーレに送りつけ陰謀を明るみに出す。祖父祖母の命はないだろうな。だがお前の言う秘策とやらが本物なら切り刻むのを少し待ってもいい。俺はどちらでも構わない。
Ah,
This
the
animosity.
threats. Yeah.
お言葉に感謝いたします。お前に最上級のホテルを用意したんだ。
Hotel?
まずはそこでゆっくり休んでいた
Yeah,
だこ
probably not.
It's gonna be a dungeon or something.
なあ、睨むのやめてくれないか。
マーレが奪ってきた巨人化の薬はこれで全てです。
Hmm.
しかし
諸君らには借りしかない無知な我々を希望へと導いてくれ
Ah,
た
pixies. Okay.
諸君らの勇姿を疑うことは悪魔の修行に等しくあろう
残念です。私たちが持ち込んだこの銃はエルディア人に自由をもたらす銃なのに。
Oh, why are they?
虫のいい話ですまんが。
構いませんよ、ピクシス司令。すぐにまた我々と食卓を囲む日が来ますから。
Okay, being very
俺のホテル。
calm about it. Whoa.
何か不満でもあるのか。巨大児の森だ。これ以上お前の不安心などは
Come on, Levi.
一度でたくさん遊べそうだしね。
They're in a dungeon.
Yeah.
She is still
エレン
pissed.
一人でもやるつもりだった。エレンに協力しても見放しても最悪の選択になっただろう。
True.
とにかく僕の道は断たれた。けどやるしかなかった。あの日の君たちのように。
Oh,
He's talking to Annie.
何か答えてよ。
thought he was just like talking to the seashell. His eyes are just so different. That was a heavy episode in a way, or at least just felt heavy. Not that it was like the information that we got was difficult to process or anything.
Emotionally heavy.
Emotional damage. But that was episode 9. And we did mostly follow, Eren and the others and all the way back to Paradis Island. But we also got a look into the past, or at least like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Which was quite nice, getting that, the whole thing with the scouts and them meeting Yelena, and how during those 3 years they ended up, capturing all of the scouts that went there, all 4,600 of them.
Yeah.
Probably maybe also had to kill some of them if they didn't, go along with being captured and they were being aggressive, just like it happened at first with the situation with Yelena. But she and others, they were instructed from the get-go by Zeke to aid the Eldians.
Yeah.
And to present them with this secret plan.
Mm-hmm.
But not giving them all of the details, but just enough so that they could see like the benefits of working together. And then what that was going to look like. Also being introduced to new technology and new weapons, which Hanji was very enthusiastic about, of course. Guns and all of that. And of course that's why they had better, newer equipment and guns. Like when they attacked in all the previous episodes that we just saw. So of course it makes sense. And then also like I liked some of the conversations in there, and especially a lot of the stuff that Armin said.
Yeah.
With there must be another way, and ultimately there in the end when he was sitting in front of Annie and talking, he kind of said that they didn't have a choice and this was the only way to do it, and maybe that is the conclusion that he sort of reached. But yeah, it still seems rash, or it still seems like a lot of death, of course, and like, was it really necessary? Was there any way they could have done it in a more diplomatic way? Just like Zeke sort of reached out to them in a diplomatic way after everything else failed, then should they have tried something like that first, or did they try something like that and we just haven't seen it yet? Because we saw some events and some stuff that happened in those 3 years, but I'm sure that there could be more that they've yet to show us. But it is, it's sad that it had to come to this.
Yeah, but I think the reason why Armin got to that place was like, Eren is just gonna do this anyway. True.
It was gonna happen no matter what. Like they can't stop Eren. Seems like no one can fucking stop Eren from doing what he thinks is right or should be done.
Yeah, and that's so I definitely see where it's like, no matter our stance on it, he would have gone anyway, and that might have just the retaliation then from Marley.
Yes.
Might have been devastating if it was like only Eren and
if they hadn't helped, and especially if Armin hadn't done what he did at the Colossal Titan and destroyed the entire navy and the harbor there and everything, and that made it so that they couldn't retaliate straight away, at least.
Yeah, and if Marley can't retaliate, then the Eldians might have the upper hand, at least for a while. until Mali might be able to retaliate. Because, well, if the aliens just decided to do nothing, then and not help Eren, then they are still a target, and Eren would like put fuel on this fire that for Mali that they hate the aliens so much. Like, and yeah, it's so I definitely see like this. It's either kill or be killed in a way, you know, and that's what it comes down to. But he's still, and I think it's something that most people that we've seen in this episode, like they were like, why are we doing this? Why can't we do anything? Like, can't we find some sort of middle ground? And it feels like most people at least are on that.
Yeah. Looking for something like that.
Yeah.
Some sort of other more peaceful option where not as many have to fucking die.
Yeah, and just like, can we coexist as people?
Yep.
But it seems hard because the way that we see like the Malians, how they are so, I would say, indoctrinated with this belief that aliens are like, they're just devils, all of them, and they should just be eradicated from Earth. The way that when we saw that commander or whatever he was on the ship, and he just started throwing insults in the face of
he wouldn't hear it. He wouldn't even entertain the idea of sitting down and having tea with them.
Yeah, exactly. And that might actually have been for the better, at least for him.
Like that he died, or
no, that he, if he had said yes
to
the invitation,
then he probably wouldn't have died, or perhaps Yelena wouldn't have shot him.
I think most Malians have that thing where it's like at some point they just get, because they're basically indoctrinated into thinking this about the aliens, that then they're just getting stubborn about it, and I would never sit down and have tea with an alien, yada yada.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
we've seen that a lot, and this whole Malian superiority thing where they are holding to the belief that they are above Eldians and probably also other nations and races and whatnot. Definitely heard it from someone like that Gross guy back in at the end of season 3, who had that whole cruelty speech.
Yeah, and it's just the way that they voice their opinion like that, and they're so nasty about it. It really breaks my heart that they are so just so mean to them, and like they're just indoctrinated into this thinking of other people as being beneath them and being inferior to them, and I think there was a very stark contrast in how some Malians, or at least
on the Mali side,
Malians or anti-Malians, so people were basically raised Malians, or I don't know, but at least I think both the cook guy, I can't remember what
Niccolo,
yeah,
wasn't that?
So the way that Niccolo, he was kind of, well, he was not entirely cooperative.
No. In the beginning.
Yeah,
yes.
Then he kind of, the way that they're holding them hostage, I feel like it's a little bit similar to the way that the Malians hold aliens hostage, basically. Like they're just...
Perhaps, it doesn't seem like they have to wear armbands or anything, but...
No, but...
At least, letting them, prove themselves in a way, and letting someone like this Niccolo guy, like, he's allowed to be a chef and make food, and that's how he got a strong bond to some of them, and especially Sasha.
Yeah, and it was very heartbreaking, the whole how Sasha's death affected him.
Yeah.
And then he met Sasha's father, and he was just straight away, he was like, well, your daughter loved my food when I cooked for her.
Yes.
So if you wanna, you can always come by and get some food in the house. But the way that he started by introducing himself, Niccolo, he was just like, but I'm just a Malian. So he was already there. He was just putting himself below the other person. You know, he was
Or at
already...
least making him aware of his status, where he is right now.
Yeah. And that's also a thing that hurts. But I like, it's not that I don't get it, but it just hurts a little bit that we have this sort of, the way that they're being treated. Like, it's hard to find the proper words for it. But
yeah, it's no matter where it is in the story, if we are on the Mali side of things, on the Eldian side of things, like it's just seems like that whole world right now is it can be very rough, and depending on where you are, and there's so many hostilities and a lot of war and people subjugating others, and like no matter where we look at the moment in the story, and hopefully that will get better. And that is definitely also what a lot of them want to work towards, and we heard that a lot inside of this episode as well, that there should be room for everyone, no matter who they are, what they believe in, where they come from, what they look like, you know. And that's also something we try to strive towards, or a lot of people want to strive towards in our world, but there is still a lot of injustice.
Yeah, and there's a lot of discrimination towards people who are different than us. And I'm not saying that this whole sort of like discriminatory behavior, it's not like, I'm not saying that it's not happening and that it's not understandable.
No.
And I'm not saying I condone it. Like, understanding does not mean condoning or
agreeing
no. with.
Exactly.
I just wanted to point it out.
Yeah. But when we say we understand the Malians or the Eldians, or we understand Eren, we understand Zeke, like whatever it is, like we understand the character, we understand motivations and whatnot, and why people might be acting the way that they are. But as you said, it doesn't mean that we also condone everything that they say or do.
No, I remember I had this in psych class about this. Like, we had a whole subject about evil and how is evil formed? Is it are you born evil? Are you raised evil? Stuff like that. It was like, you know, classical Lord of the Flies, yada yada yada, and war stuff and as well. And so that's what I mean when I understand, because I understand how people get to go to a point where they feel like they are superior to others for their race or their group or whatever that they are. Yeah. Exactly. But I'm not saying like it's for me. It's just not the ideal world.
No. Of course not. Of course not. Like, going back in history and saying that you understand how something like, you know, Hitler, Nazi Germany, how that can happen, doesn't mean that you
like Hitler,
like it, or you condone it, or anything like that. And, you know, it's important to understand why shit like that happens, and why humans will act like that, so that maybe we can prevent it in the future. You know, it's very important to learn from our mistakes, you know, just humanity as a whole.
Yeah. And then I just really liked the Sasha's father's response. Yeah. He was very respectful, and he was even like,
he shook his hand.
And he felt like he saw him as an equal.
Of course.
And
he didn't on the house, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't see him as a Malian or anything. He saw him as a person on the same level that was grieving the loss of Sasha.
Yes.
And he saw that, and he didn't like, who the fuck cares where you're from, right?
Yeah.
We shared this wonderful experience of a human being together. And yeah, so that was really hard but beautiful in the same time. I wish everyone could just meet each other like that instead of just
over food.
Yes.
Food is a great, you know, uniter.
Yeah,
in general.
And for some people, it's the love. It's their love language. Like everything.
Yeah, that's how they tell someone that they love them, by making food for them.
Yeah,
like, I love making food for you, for example,
and I love eating your food. You know, like and yeah, it's that's how some people, like, we have love language, and that can be very different from person to person.
Yeah.
And it's not only about how you want to receive love; it's also how you give love.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So
I thought it was also, by the way, quite significant with Connie, and how he actually said that he regarded Sasha as almost like his twin, that they were so close that now, that now that she's gone, it feels like he's lost a part of himself.
Oh, I thought that was Nicolo. But...
It was maybe hard to see because
Okay,
sometimes, you know, they were standing very close and, you know, similar voices, but it was Connie's mouth that was moving.
Oh, okay.
When
I was a bit confused about that.
When that was being said. Yeah, it makes the most sense with Connie because, of course, he and Sasha, they've known each other for a long time and been very close and worked.
And Connie does
closely.
He does not have a family, so I think he really latched on to the people around him. So like Sean and Sasha, and
they also brought up that whole thing with like why Connie doesn't have a family and what Zeke has done.
Yep.
So I would totally understand if Connie's gonna be like, I don't want to be near that motherfucker. He's the reason why my entire family, my entire village got turned into Titans.
And he's not the only one who felt that way, because we also saw the meeting with a lot of the leaders, military leaders or faction leaders or whatever.
Great seeing a lot of those characters again, actually. Even like a sick, depraved motherfucker like Zachary. I'm just calling him that because of the whole torture thing that we've seen him do. But also seeing Historia again. Pixies, who at first was not, you know, like it was thinking about this whole deal with cooperating with these scouts and Yelena, and should we like being wary of it to begin with, and then later on he sort of appreciated it.
But that's after, because that's been after the 3 years of cooperation.
And after the whole attack as well, and after they got back with Zeke, and it also seemed like because Zeke is now here, they've gone back to like being sort of wary of these people again, and like were pointing weapons at them. But Yelena was very understanding.
Yeah, well, like, of course, if you go somewhere and you basically have been their enemy for the whole existence, and then you come and say, hey, we want to cooperate with you.
You're the one who has to prove yourself.
And we have the one person that you probably hate the most on our side, and we want to...
Yeah, he's the one who actually instigated all of this, like this whole reach out. Yeah.
And then it's like, so we if you just start to be unreasonable and say, well, you shouldn't do this to us, yada yada yada. It's like, well, if Zeke then turned on them because it was a part of his whole plan.
Yeah. Now that he's here.
If he turns on them, they just want to be cautious.
Yeah.
And so I think that was the right move if you really want that to show that you are cooperating and you are trusting the other person. You say, fine, we'll do whatever it takes for you to trust us.
Sure, definitely. And then also inside of that, first meeting with everyone we got after they talked to the scouts and trying to come up with a plan. Eren, he revealed what he knew about how it works with him as with the founding Titan power as the coordinate. We know that's the same thing. And what happened when he came in contact with someone with royal blood. And now he felt like, okay, I can actually talk about it because there is this other possibility of using Zeke, and that Zeke's whole plan is you know them teaming up in that way. So now Historia is not in the same sort of danger.
Yeah.
So he's just been holding that to himself.
And I think that was very
keeping that to himself. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it was just very not surprising, but definitely the right choice to like keep that information to himself. But I think that was also before he started to turn sour, or turn
it's very apparent that Eren, he has changed a lot, and especially when you look at his eyes, and I think that they're making it very clear because they do focus on his eyes a lot. They did also do that before, and there was so much passion in there when we saw him in the previous seasons, and now it's almost like there's nothing. He's almost dead inside. Just when you look at his eyes. I know that's an exaggeration, but there's just that big of a difference.
Yeah.
At least.
And Armin also noticed that he's
Oh,
changed
very
a lot,
much.
and he's like,
Very,
I
very
thought
much.
I knew Eren better than anyone, even Mikasa,
Mm.
and I don't know him anymore. Like or not as well, at least, as I thought I did.
Yeah. And of course, he's got a lot on his shoulders, a lot on his mind, and he has all of those memories inside of him and different Titan powers now. And of course, when we go to the present, like now including the Warhammer Titan, which he also ate. But one last thing for me, at least, is just with Zeke and just the treatment now of Zeke, because like the only one who was interacting with him at all, that was Levi. Because if he steps out of bounds, like if he does anything, then Levi will just fucking take him out.
Yes.
And he knows that Levi can do that.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that, you don't want to go up against that guy. So he's just staying close to him, staring at him a lot. Like, could you please stop?
Yeah. And also the way that he's like, here's the forest of very, very tall trees. If you try anything, I have ODM gear.
Yeah.
And I'm a master at that.
Yeah.
And he was also like, oh, so you can have fun with your ODM gear, huh?
Yeah. And also the fact that like chose that because like he's taunting him and saying, hey, you're a monkey, so here are some fucking tall trees. Go climb.
But they don't know what monkeys are. Or they didn't before.
Oh yeah, maybe.
So
maybe that's just for us as a funny little haha. Yeah. But that's where he is, and he wants to show Falco and Gabby this wonder of the world, but they are both also, Falco and Gabby, being, held and like the hostages in a dungeon, and Gabby is just not gonna let this go at all. We talked about how Falco might be easy to talk to, and he might turn, but Gabby. Ooh, maybe not so much.
No.
Maybe not so much.
Maybe she's lost.
Yeah. But I'm very happy also to see that they are, like, Annie is going to come back to the story.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully. Or at least Armin is talking to her
Yeah.
right now. And I am curious about, like, what she's going to say when she eventually gets
Emerges,
out.
yeah.
Decides that.
Emerges from her cocoon.
Yeah, crystal cocoon. Eren can they cannot get her out of there.
They don't have the jaw now.
They don't have the Nutcracker Titan.
Oh
as you
my
guys
god, that's disgusting.
called him in the comments. Yeah. But do you have anything else you want to add to this one? Yeah.
Yes. In vain with the way that with the whole anti-Malian scout regiment, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's this person of color.
Yeah.
And
they've never seen.
No, because they of course not. They're all very white, and they have been breeding with very white people all the time. So they're just by default going to be very white. And then they see this person of color, and they're like, why your skin, why
do you look like that?
Yeah, and I thought he was taking it very, very nicely, and he was just like, well, you're all very white. And so that's why you can't really, that you haven't seen someone like me, because, well, you're basically just...
Yeah, and also like this world is full of different people.
And that's amazing.
Isn't that a good thing?
Yeah.
And he's also religious, believes in God or a God, and also believes that the whole Ymir, Titans, all of that comes from God. So him and Yelena, the others, very devout when it comes to that, and especially also if they sort of, Yelena even called Zeke a god.
Yeah, but I think with this guy that I really liked the way that he was not pushing his religion onto them. He was just like, well,
That's what some people believe.
Yeah, and it's like we live in a free world, and you're free to believe what you want to.
Exactly.
And I think it was a very beautiful way of seeing this diversity. It was like, yeah, well, we are created different, like to look different.
But let's talk about it.
And that's
how we. Let's get to know each other.
That's just a wonderful thing, because God also created you guys, and created you guys very white, and
or that's at least what he believes.
Yeah, and that it was probably for a reason. Perhaps, we don't know. But at least I just like this very open-minded, and
it's a nice sentiment, and it's a nice, just something that can relate to how we talk and treat each other in our world as well.
Especially when it comes to religion.
And race.
Well,
that's going to do it for this reaction and review of Attack on Titan Season 4, Episode 9. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and we will see you very soon. Bye.
Bye.